Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutrabhashya Krutau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmedi Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyaptadehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayiniim Ambatvāmanusandadhāmi Bhagavat Gite Bhavadveshiniim Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvante Divyaistavaihi Vedaihi Sangapadakramo Panishadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagaha Dhyanavasthitadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yan Yoginaha Yasyantanna Vidusura Surganaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Verse 47. On page 24. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phalaheturbhuhu ma te sangostva karmani. So here Lord Krishna addressing Arjuna, who, as we discussed earlier, has laid down his arms, his bow and arrow, and declared that Nayotse, I will not fight the battle, meaning that he has resorted to what we call nishkriyata, inactivity. What we are seeking in life is called naishkarmya, meaning actionlessness. What is meant by actionlessness is becoming free from the bondage of action. As we'll see, action is normally looked upon as a cause of bondage. And Arjuna also would think that if I perform this action, I'll be bound because I learned punya, papa, which will perpetuate the cycle of birth and death. So he was seeking moksha, and therefore, moksha means naishkarmya, actionlessness. And so he thought that inactivity will lead me to actionlessness. Lord Krishna says, no, the action, performance of action leads to actionlessness. This is a lesson that Lord Krishna wants to give. It's true that actionlessness is the ultimate goal. Really, actionlessness is not a description of action or not performing action, which is what people think. Actionlessness is the description of self. Actionless is the nature of the self. And therefore, actionlessness means abiding in oneself. Meaning that being true to oneself. Right now, I am not abiding in myself, Because of ignorance, I entertain various notions about myself, which arising from taking the body, mind, etc. is myself. And therefore, recognizing myself truly for what I am and abiding in that knowledge is actionlessness, because actionless is the nature of Atma, and abiding in that Atma is actionlessness, the state of being actionless. And for that, giving up action called renunciation or sannyasa also is considered a means, because actionlessness means abiding in the knowledge of the self, and to facilitate pursuit of knowledge, the scriptures do condone or consent giving up all your duties and responsibilities. Take to life off, renunciate. So those who attend the camp, they know it's called vividisha sannyasa. All the sannyasa, renunciation taken for the sake of pursuit of knowledge. Meaning that when you have reached a point when knowledge of self is the only agenda you have, all you now want is, only desire left in you is the desire for knowledge. All other desires have vanished. In the wake of viveka, discernment and vairagya, then for pursuing or fulfilling that desire for knowledge, the renunciation is a very compatible or appropriate way of life, which makes you free from all duties and responsibilities, which gives you leisure to sit at the feet of the teacher without any sense of guilt of not failing to perform your duty. So with a free mind enjoying leisure, and open mind, you can listen to the scriptures. So that sannyasa, called vividisha sannyasa, facilitates, and that is permitted by the scriptures for enabling this person to devote himself or herself to the pursuit of knowledge. So Arjuna doesn't quite, in the state of mind that he has sort of misunderstood the spirit of all this. What is meant by renunciation? What is meant by actionlessness? There's a lot of confusion in the mind of Arjuna. So he seems to have concluded that giving up action is renunciation. And giving up action seems to be the means of actionlessness. Therefore, Lord Krishna has to educate him. Yes, your desire to be actionless is a genuine desire, because that is what everyone is seeking. Total freedom. But that is to be achieved through action and not through inaction. Not by discarding the action or the duty that you have, that you can attain freedom from duty. We want to attain freedom from duty also. They were having to do this. This duty is a pain in the neck, basically. It's imposed upon us. You have to do this and you have to do that. All do's and don'ts are there. And duty as wife and duty as daughter and duty as... We do that. What is meant by freedom from action is freedom from this duty, or duty has two aspects. One is that you have to do something as husband, as wife, as son, daughter. Other is you have to do. You see, that compulsion is there. I have to do. Meaning that very often in performance of so-called duty, that we have to really suppress our desire to do something else and do it whether we like it or not. In course of time, duty becomes something that you don't like in course of time. Therefore, really freedom from action is freedom from duty. Duty means what? Compulsion. When I have to perform duty, means I am compelled to do something. I have to do it. That have to is called bondage. Doing is not bondage. If I do it with free will, then it is not a bondage. Then doing itself becomes an expression of my freedom. So we should understand that freedom of action is not freedom of for doing something, freedom from the compulsion to perform the action. From any compulsion. What is bondage is that I feel compelled. That's the bondage. And the true freedom is freedom from every kind of compulsion, which is a subjective thing, inner thing. If that is not properly understood, then freedom is equal to some situation that I can do what I want. So some kind of a description is given to freedom. But let us understand, freedom means freedom from all kinds of compulsion, all kinds of pressures. No pressure within, no pressure without. Meaning, what is freedom in action? Is performing action without pressure. We don't have any problem in performing action, because what will you do? Just sitting, you'll get bored. So it's not that we desire not to do something in terms of remain inactive with my hands folded. What I resist is that I have to do this. Why should I do that? You cannot do that. Now why should I not do it? So my problem is this kind of imposition upon me that I must do a given thing and I cannot do a given thing. Who are you to tell me? So how do I become free from that? By stopping everything? Lord Krishna says no. By following this injunction, you become free from injunctions. So idea here, the teaching is that by performing your duties properly, that you become free from this compulsion involved in duty, and not simply by giving up. Renunciation, not just giving up things. Renunciation is growing out of things, not giving up something. So, freedom from compulsion, freedom from need. Then you are free to do, you are free not to do. So a wise person is described. Right now, there is pressure in me to do something, because by doing something, I stand to gain something, and therefore I have to do it. The pressure to refrain from not doing, if I don't do, I am deprived of the gain from doing, therefore I want to do. So right now, whether I do or not do, is all dictated by my pressure within. Because right now doing is a means of some personal reward, and I am interested in the reward. If I don't perform the action, I am deprived of reward. So therefore, that desire for reward compels me to perform action. So Arjuna does not understand that freedom of action is freedom from compulsion. He thinks freedom of action is not doing things. It's called freedom from action. Lord Krishna says nobody can not do anything. Everybody will do something because hands and legs are given to you. And the mind is given to you. World is given to you. Hunger and thirst. So you will do something. Just because you do doesn't mean that you are not a sannyasi. Just because you don't do doesn't mean you are a sannyasi. Whether you are free from compulsion, that is when you are sannyasi. You are compelled, then you are not a sannyasi. You follow? Even if you don't do anything, Lord Krishna will describe in the 3rd chapter. This person is renunciation means I will not do anything. So then he sits in meditation that I am a sannyasi, I am a yogi. Except that will be useful to me, provided my mind is available to me. I can close my eyes and not perform action at the level of limbs, but mind will run around everywhere. Then that doesn't serve any purpose. Freedom is not the description of some physical situation. That's what Bhagavad Gita says. Freedom is not the description of whether doing something or not doing. That's not the description of freedom. Freedom is purely a subjective or internal thing. It is freedom from compulsion or freedom from pressure. That's all. I'm not pressure. That's called freedom. That doesn't mean that you will just do anything just because you don't have pressure doesn't mean that you violate the laws. Why should you violate the law? Swami, if there is no pressure, will that fellow then his action will become just swachchanda, meaning he'll do whatever he wants to do. He can violate also. Why should he violate? When I violate, there is also pressure. When I violate the law, there is also pressure. There is no pressure, then there is no reason to violate the law. I can very well follow the law and abide by the law and enjoy that also. It's not that I can enjoy just because I am denouncing or rejecting the law. So people think that is called freedom. That's not so. Freedom is freedom from internal pressure, internal compulsion. And that pressure or compulsion brings about all kinds of desires and demands from others. And therefore Lord Krishna describes that freedom as prajahati yada kaman, when a person becomes free from all needs, expectations, demands. Doesn't say he sits and doesn't do anything. Freedom is an internal thing, subjective. That's how Lord Krishna describes. This is what all Lord Krishna has to explain to Arjuna. And even when you say all these things, it may not necessarily penetrate the mind of Arjuna if he is not ready to listen. Our mind can interpret what we are told in our own way depending upon how our disposition is. So just because what is said is right doesn't mean that it is conveyed to the person, because the listener also should be in right frame of mind. So Lord Krishna has to do two things. First of all, create the right frame of mind in Arjuna and then tell him what is right. And to create right frame of mind, the process is living the right life intelligently. Not letting go or not rejecting the life, living the life intelligently with right values and attitudes. That's called karma yoga. And so Lord Krishna says, karmanyavadikaraste. It is proper for you to perform action. Right now Arjuna has given up action? No, not inaction. Action is what you should do. Okay, what am I going to get out of that? Ma phaleshu kadachana. Perform an action without the agenda of the personal reward. You perform the action and then there is a condition there. Karmanyavadikaraste, it is proper for you to perform a duty. But while performing duty also, ma phaleshu kadachana. You do not seek any personal gratification, no personal reward, no sense gratification. That means my karma or action becomes totally an action for others, because I am not seeking any personal gratification or reward at all. Ma karma phala heturuhu, what does it mean? Ma karma phala heturuhu. May you not become the author of karma phala, or the result of the action. Don't become the producer of result of action. Lord Krishna says, I, Ishvara, is the karma phala, author of karma phala. You remain the performer of karma, and let me decide what the karma phala is. That's going to happen, Swami, anyway, but unfortunately we still decide. See, when I am performing an action with a certain agenda in mind that I want this, then I already decided what the outcome should be. Say, don't do that, let me decide that. Meaning what? Your involvement should be confined to merely performing action. Certainly when you perform an action, there is an agenda, there is a prayojanam, purpose is there. But there is no consideration of any personal reward as to in what manner the outcome of this action will personally benefit me. There should be no consideration at all. In fact, don't seek personal benefit. If it comes, don't take it. No personal benefit. So Lord Krishna teaches this is quite opposite of what the world teaches. What you should do, you must always get benefit out of that, otherwise you should not do it. which is also right. I don't say it is wrong. Depends on what our purpose is. After all, when you live the life of a householder, then naturally making, having income and all of these are important things. There is family to support and responsibilities, you require resources and to produce resources. And so we must know that this particular teaching is imparted to someone who doesn't have that kind of a need. He has no family to support. Arjuna has already declared that I am not interested in the kingdom of this whole world. I don't want anything. I am not interested. To that person this is being told. Now if you realize that to live your life you have this needs, then you have to produce those needs. We can't say that you become a renunciate. Meaning that how this teaching should be implemented in our life, that translation we have to do. But basically what the attitude is that when I perform the action, I should be diligent in performing action. Should not compromise the quality of action. Meaning that the outcome should not influence the quality of action. I should not compromise the means for the sake of end. I should not violate any values in the process of performing action for some desirable outcome. So Lord Krishna says, when you perform the action, let not the outcome determine how you perform the action. Let your duty and let the righteousness determine how you perform the action. Even if you are performing action for a certain reward, you are a businessman or everybody does, Swami, do you mean to say that at the end of the month I should not accept my salary? You said that perform action without the reward. So what should I do with my salary? Donate it? No. The thing is that let that salary not become the issue for compromising the quality of your action. The outcome should not in any way influence the quality of action. When you are performing action, make sure that you do the best that is to be done. But then, Swamiji, I will not quite get what I want. Then you live with what you get. So Lord Krishna says that the quality of action should not be compromised. It should be based on dharma, righteousness, based on what is the duty, what's the right thing to do in a given situation. There's no compromise in that. It brings about an outcome. Yes, even if you want an outcome, it will bring about an outcome if you do it well. If sometimes it happens that outcome may not come, because we do not control, we do not call all the shots, and it's possible that the outcome may not be what I am seeking. The Lord Krishna says, accept it gracefully. God give me serenity to accept gracefully what I cannot control. And give me the courage to do what I can control. So karma is what I can control. What's the courage required? Courage required in karma is to do it right. To follow the values. To do what is right. And for that I have to overcome my temptations, impulses to compromise, impulses to take shortcuts. That requires courage. Courage in terms of controlling my mind and not allowing it to be controlled by the impulses and temptations. But I make sure that my mind is doing what is the right thing to do. That requires courage. To be truthful requires courage. To be honest requires courage. Courage because sometimes in being honest, I have to let go some benefit that I may get by compromising honesty. And that is, it's very tempting. Just a little bit I do, Swamiji, I can get this much more. And karma phala I cannot control, therefore I accept it gracefully. Now Lord Krishna continues his teaching, what is said in this verse, ma karma phala heturbuhu, meaning that let karma phala, the outcome, not be the determining, motivating factor, let karma be the motivating factor, not the karma phala. Second line says, ma karma phala heturbuhu, may not become the cause of karma, meaning that may your action be performed not out of motivation for the reward, may the action be performed out of motivation for doing what is right. Really speaking, to do something is a privilege. That I am placed in a given situation which requires certain response from me, then Ishvara has given me the understanding, the talent, the opportunity, the ability to do something. That is also a great privilege, is it not so? So look upon the fact that you do something as a privilege. Dogs and cats do not do that, they don't have that privilege. Kartrutva is a big privilege, the doership that I am doing it is a great privilege. And therefore, you must do it with dignity. That this is what they say, let there be a signature in everything that your signature in everything that you do. So world should know this is done by such and such person. When they see the work, I think that Kampeta must have done it. This person must have done it. Ma karma phala hetu, let karma phala be not be the motivating factor, let the quality of karma, the opportunity of karma, the privilege of doing karma be the motivating factor. Ma te sangostva karmani. If I have nothing to gain out of, if I am not doing it for a personal gain, why should I do that? Let that with no consideration, may not have attachment to inactivity. Action is the expression of life, inaction is not expression of life. This idea is further expanded. Let us proceed to the next verse now, verse number 48. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Yogastha kuru karmani, karmani kuru, may you perform actions. Yogastha. Stha means one who is centered upon, yogastha, being centered upon yoga. Meaning being devoted to yoga, centered on yoga. What is yoga? Because when you perform the action, what should be the state of your mind? Yoga is a state, the attitude, the state of mind. While performing action, may there be the attitude of yoga. So may you perform your actions with the attitude of yoga. Yogastha. So while performing action itself, the attitude is there. What is the attitude? What is yoga, Lord? So Lord Krishna himself defines the second line. Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. It's a very interesting verse. So this is also a style of scriptures that they explain their own words. So here Lord Krishna uses the word yoga and himself explains what yoga is. So second line explains what is said in the first line. What is said in the first line? that abiding in yoga may you perform your action. That is, while you are performing action, let your mind abide in yoga. What is yoga? Samatvam yoga uchyate. Sameness of the mind or equanimity of the mind is called yoga. Here, in the context of this karma yoga or performance of karma, yoga is defined as the samatvam. Sama means same, samatvam, sameness of the mind, equanimity of the mind. Or Lord Krishna will say subsequently, later in 13th chapter, Nityancha samachittatvam ishtanishtovapattishu, that let samachittatvam, let there be the sameness or equanimity of the mind in all conditions. So equanimity of the mind is called yoga. Or sameness of the mind. Swami used to describe the sameness of the mind. Sameness where? Siddha siddhyo samabhutva, in siddhi and asiddhi. Siddhi means success, asiddhi means failure. Let there be sameness of the mind in success and failure. No, success is not failure and failure is not success. You know, this morning we talked about mutually exclusive things. Success excludes, very success is no failure. Where there is failure, there is no success. So success excludes failure, failure excludes success. What it means is, when there is an idea of success in your mind, that time there is no idea of failure. When the idea of failure in the mind, at that time there is no idea of success. So how can you be equal to success and failure? They are mutually exclusive ideas, opposite to each other. So how can you be equal to opposite, both these pairs of opposites? Siddha siddhyo samabhutva. Have sameness of the mind with reference to success and failure. Meaning that be ready to accept success and failure. So God, give me serenity to accept gracefully what I cannot control. Success and failure, both of them refer to the outcome of the action or the result of the action. And result or outcome is something that I cannot control, because I can perform the action, I cannot control what the outcome will be. Performing action is like releasing an arrow from the bow. So when I release an arrow from a bow, then there is a target and I am of course shooting the arrow in order to hit that target. So the purpose is there. Action is not purposeless, there is a purpose. In releasing the arrow, there is a purpose of hitting the target. So that is not called karma phala. By the way, that in my mind there is a purpose of hitting the target, that is not the attachment to karma phala. That's called prayojanam, that's called purpose of performing the action. That when I perform an action, there must be a purpose. Just as when I am releasing the arrow, there is a purpose of hitting the target. That's quite in order. Lord Krishna will not object to that, because otherwise there is no point in performing an action. You can't perform that, you can't just throw the arrow in air with no purpose. When you do that, there is a purpose. So we should not confuse purpose with attachment to the result. Understand? That action is performed for a certain result. Then what is attachment to result? Attachment to result is determined when I react to the result. So I have the purpose of hitting the target. If as a result of shooting the arrow hits the target and I am elated, Harsha, elation is there. What do I feel? Successful. How do I feel? I am successful. And if the arrow fails to hit the target, it is branded as failure. What is that? I have failed. So one outcome which is called success creates in me one kind of reaction where I congratulate myself, I feel good about, great about myself, and my ego is gratified and I am elated. On the other hand, when the outcome is different, then I am depressed. Harsha and shoka, elation and depression, both of these are reactions to the outcome. So Lord Krishna teaches in the Bhagavad Gita, remaining free from reaction. Action is in order, reaction is not in order. What is the reaction? When I do not control my response. When I control my response, when my free will comes into play in my response, that is called action. Because free will is my privilege. And therefore, when I give a response, deliberately with my free will, it is called action. It may be wrong, meaning that my judgment can be wrong and the way I give a response, the response can be right or wrong is a different thing. But reaction is when action takes place. Action is when I deliberately do it. Sometimes when I deliberately do also, I may have made a mistake. Mistake is a different business. It is not an unspiritual thing. Mistake is not a problem in our life. Well, we'll see that. But here, in every situation, Lord Krishna says, may you act, meaning that let their response be deliberate. You know what happens? When I make a deliberate response, then I am aware of what I am doing. And when I am conscious of what I am doing, then I will do that action in keeping with my values. Because I have a set of values. I have a set of attitudes. I have a value for being an honest person. I have an attitude to be a kind person. An attitude to be a compassionate person. My values and attitudes are there. But when will those values or attitudes have an expression? When I perform a deliberate action. When I perform the action. When I consciously perform the action. What is the reaction? When action takes place. At that time, it is not I who performs the action. It is my impulse that performs the action. I am frustrated. That frustration does something out of me. That time my values and attitudes have no say because it is impulse that decides what I do. You follow the difference between action and reaction. Action is that which is alertly, deliberately, consciously performed. And then I am conscious of myself, and I am conscious of myself, then I am conscious that I am a father, I am mother, I am Swami, I am disciple, I am Guru, I am so and so, I am conscious. When I am conscious of that, then I will act in dignity of that I am father, I can't act in a certain manner, I am a teacher, this is what I should do. Otherwise, like when we were children studying in the schools, and once all friends we went out, evening for a walk, and then we saw some people on the sidewalk playing cards. Those, in these small towns. So one of my friends pointed out, just like that, there is such and such teacher in that crowd. Do you see that? I saw one of our teachers was playing crowds with us, cards. What? My teacher does that? How can he do that? So, we associate our dignity with teacher, isn't it? So, if I am aware that I am a teacher, my teacher only when I am in a class and not elsewhere, that's a different thing. But if I am aware, those days teachers were teachers. Meaning, when you go to their home, also is a teacher. Wherever is a teacher. Because at that time, there is the Brahmana, that means it's not income that is important, that he was a teacher was important. So if I remember I am a teacher, then my action will reflect that dignity of a teacher. But father has his own dignity, mother has a dignity, teacher has a dignity, disciple has a dignity, son has everybody has a dignity. My action will be dignified action. That will be when I am aware of it. when I'm conscious, when I have self-control, when I deliberately do something. Then only that action can become a means of a growth, otherwise that action is bondage. Reaction is bondage, action is expression of freedom. Now, when my arrow does not hit the target, I feel frustrated. Is it action or reaction? That frustration happens. Deliberately, I cannot be frustrated. I get angry. Is it action or reaction? Reaction, because deliberately I cannot get angry. That was very interesting. The Swami used to demonstrate that. That we cannot deliberately get angry. He says, come on, get angry. He will invite the audience. Come on, get angry. Get angry. You can do this. You can act as an angry person. You can bring all kinds of expressions on your face. But you know that you're acting. We cannot deliberately become angry. It's very, very important to know. You know what it means? It means that when I'm angry, I'm not deliberate. If I'm conscious, I cannot be angry. I cannot be cruel. I cannot be unkind. If I'm conscious, I'm going to be a good person. No, Swamiji consciously has done this action, then he's not conscious. No, he's a premeditated murderer, he meditated for 6 months, not conscious. Not conscious of the dignity of a human being, he's not conscious. As a human being, I expect that person not to hurt me and he expects me not to hurt him also. And then, that is how I would act. I did not act that way. Means I am not conscious that I am a human being. A conscious person cannot do anything wrong. When we do something wrong, we are not conscious. We are compelled. We are impulsive. And one impulse leads to another impulse. Impulse is a sign of bondage. So how can we make action an opportunity of freedom? By doing it consciously, that's all. Just remain conscious. Remain awareful. This thing gets stuck in many places, because of so many things are in this upavastra is there, and then this handle is there, and this poor thing is also dancing. Where are you? Okay. You must have a longer wire, for me anyway. So, no, that is all right. So, this is being alert, being conscious. Meaning being conscious of who I am. Being conscious of my role, that in this situation, this is what I am. That's what called consciousness. In this situation, I am a father, a mother, whoever, a servant is also a dignity. A sweeper. So, therefore, when I shoot the arrow, what is meant by sameness of the mind? If my arrow hits the target, then I become elated, that means also it is not conscious action. Consciously you cannot become elated. Try. That you can do, There are laughing clubs and people start laughing. But then they lose consciousness. After they start, then they lose it. Then it happens. In the beginning you do, then he tells you how to do it. And the other fellow does. And then it becomes contagious. And then without their control, they start laughing. Then you're not in control. That may be therapy, it's okay. But as I said, that is not a conscious action. But somebody takes a video of a Swami at that time and then displays on Facebook or something like that. I don't want to see it. How is doing this? Hrusto drupyati drupta dharmam atikramati says, Hrusta, one who is elated, drupyati, he becomes arrogant. And he cannot follow the boundaries, he transcends the boundaries, violates the boundaries. So that is also bad. When I get overwhelmed, when I become elated, I lose sense of proportion and I do things that are not proper. So elation also is a reaction and depression of course is a reaction. Harsha and shoka both are reactions. Consciously I cannot be elated. I can be cheerful consciously when I'm happy. Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva. What is meant by samatva means siddhi, siddhi means success and asiddhi means failure, is that the arrow had shot the target. Om Tat Sat, meaning that is what has happened. But as the Swami said, we don't put a stop there. Oh, my arrow has hit the target. All right, your arrow. Put a stop there. Your arrow has hit the target. No, I hit the target. Okay, put a stop. I succeeded. So what I do is, I keep on stretching that. And ultimately, what is my conclusion? I hit the arrow. I hit the target. I succeeded. I am successful. That is called bondage. And by the same token, if I don't hit the target, I am a failure. So this is called attachment to outcome. When I judge myself based on the outcome, understand? Attachment doesn't mean that I don't care for the outcome. It is when I judge myself based on the outcome. If outcome is success, I am successful. That is called bondage. Because I identified with that outcome. Where that is a habitual thing, it's not a conscious thing. All identification happens habitually, not consciously. When you're watching a movie and then you start crying and you don't even know that you're crying. Something tragic happening there and this fellow is sitting in his chair in an air-conditioned theater with a pushback chair, the coke and popcorn in his hand and watching the movie and tears rolling from his eyes. So what happened? My wife has left me. His wife has left. That fellow's wife. His wife is sitting right beside him, But he's suffering from this, my wife has left. This is what? This is called identification. It's not deliberate action. Identification never deliberate. It takes place. You follow? So already so much identification is there and we have to become free from that. But at least don't further identify, Lord Krishna says. To remain free from already existing identification, let us cultivate a habit of not habitually identifying to what we are not. Right now I am already identified with the body. I think that I am a doer. I think that I hit the arrow. That is already there. Right now we are not touching that. We are accepting that. Right now, Swami, how to perform action, without as a witness? You can't perform. How can I perform without being a doer, a karta? You cannot. When you perform action, you are a karta. So don't, to perform an action, I am performing action without kartrutvam. But when you say I am performing a kartrutvam, you are already there. So, right now what we want is, we want that karta to be a conscious, alert person who follows his values and attitude, who is a sattvic karta. When I react, I am a rajasic karta. So kartrutvam is there, sense of doership is there. When we perform the action, karma yogi has sense of doership. He is not yet free from doership. That will happen when he realizes that I am actionless self, that is called the knowledge. That's a different process. But here what is intended is that his kartrutvam or doership becomes sattvic kartrutvam. A freeing kartrutvam, not binding kartrutvam. So what is called attachment to result is identification to the outcome. Judging myself based on the outcome is called attachment. When I perform an action, if I perform action with a certain purpose, there is not attachment. Because without a purpose, action cannot be performed. Unless I have the purpose of hitting the target, I can't shoot the arrow. Otherwise, I'll shoot it in any direction. That may be some kind of an action also, some kind of a play. But that also has a purpose of showing something, I don't know. So, without any target, I shoot the arrow. That also has a purpose. But behind every action, there is a purpose. Having performed the action, the outcome comes. Then I maintain sameness of the mind. Means what? Success comes, Om Tat Sat is all right. Failure comes, Om Tat Sat. Meaning not I succeeded, not I failed. Success came. Failure came. That's the reality. You can't say it's all success. Swami, should I look upon everything as success? You cannot, because failure is failure. Your arrow did not shoot the target. It's a reality. We accept the reality. The point is not to deny the reality, how to deal with the reality. How to remain free in spite of what the reality is. Because reality I can't control, what happens I cannot control. How to retain my freedom in spite of what happens out there. That's what Lord Krishna is teaching. The way I retain freedom is not identifying. Let it be there. Meaning that the arrow did not shoot the target. Om Tat Sat, that's it. Don't stretch it further. Oh, I fail, I'm like that. And then I start bashing myself. Or I start congratulating myself. I feel very proud. That's another bondage. Siddhya siddhyo samabhut. Samatvam yoga uchyate. This attitude is called yoga. So Lord Krishna says that yogastha kuru karmani. When you perform an action, already you have this decision. It is not that after the result comes that you maintain samatvam. In fact, a samatvam is there in your mind when you start performing action. This action will bring success, Om Tat Sat. Failure, Om Tat Sat means grace of God. Success, Hari Ichha. Failure, Hari Ichha. What is my Ichha? Do what is right. So what is my role? Do what is right. And do for a purpose. In spite of my best effort, purpose is not served, Hari Ichha. As long as I do not brand myself failure, I can maintain that disposition of mind. You see, I react and I feel I'm not able to maintain equanimity of mind when I identify. If I do not identify, I maintain the equanimity of mind. The arrow did not shoot the target, not that I did not shoot the target or I failed. The arrow hit the target. That doesn't mean I succeeded. You follow? The success and failure, even if you want to call the result as success and failure, they only stay with the outcome. They are not superimposed upon I. So that's all. Simple. But we are so habituated to identify that we don't even know that every event influences, affects us. We empower an event to affect us by this identification, by judging myself based on that event. And some people have a habit of blaming themselves for everything. Some tree falls there, I am responsible. For everything I am responsible. This fellow did something because of me, did not do because of me. Other fellows say because of him. That's another thing, No need to blame anybody. Be objective. Yes, I may be responsible, because of me it happened, all right. That doesn't mean that I have to condemn myself. I made a mistake. I'm after all, it's human to err, they say. So I can't expect myself to be perfect. I can make mistakes. My judgment can be wrong. In spite of my best effort, the outcome may not come because maybe I did not take into account all the variables. Nobody can take into account all the variables anyway. Otherwise there will be no failure. All these kind of space, projects are there, and the things. If you can take into account all the variables, there will be no unsuccessful project at all. Nobody can do that. Because you have to be omniscient, all-knowing in order to take everything into account. And we are not. We have the power. We have the power to know and power to act and power to will, which is wonderful, all limited powers. So gracefully accepting the outcome. What is meant by graceful acceptance is not identifying, not judging myself by outcome. That I am what I am, outcome is what outcome is. They are two different things. But when I identify and judge myself based on outcome, I made them one. I lumped them together. That's how I'm bound to that thing. Bound by my habit of identifying, habit of judging myself. Siddhi siddhyo samabhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. So this attitude is called yoga here, samatvam. We'll continue in the next class after a break. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastuma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I had meant to greet all the fathers this morning on the Father's Day, and this one describes the father. It says, "You are splendid, you are terrific, you are amazing, you are fabulous, you are incredible, you are fantastic, you are magnificent, you are delightful. You are astonishing, you are remarkable, you are excellent, you are astounding, you are exceptional." All fathers, congratulations to everybody. Read the verse 48. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva. Bhutva, having become. The tva pratyaya, the suffix, shows a completed action. Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva, the second line says, means having become sama even-minded towards success and failure. First become even-minded towards success and failure before performing action. This was already told to Arjuna earlier, in fact. in this chapter itself, Sukha Dukkhe Same Krutva Labha Labhau Jaya Jayau Tato Yuddha Yujjasva Naivam Papam Avapsasi. Tato Yuddhaya Yujjasva. Tato, thereafter, Yuddhaya Yujjasva. May you commence this endeavor of fighting this battle. Having done this, what is it? Sukha dukkhe same krutva, again krutva, having done. Sukha dukkhe same krutva. In your mind, having made equal, having made pleasure and pain as equal, labha labho, having made gain and loss as equal, same krutva. Jaya jaya, meaning having the victory. So looking upon victory and defeat as equal. So in your mind, first of all, create this condition where you look upon defeat and victory as equal. Victory brings gain, defeat brings loss, and therefore looking upon gain and loss as equal. Gain makes me happy, loss makes me unhappy, looking upon happiness and unhappiness as equal. It means that, Arjuna, you are fighting this battle not only because you will gain victory. Yes, victory is the purpose, that's called the prayojanam. You do fight the battle for victory, but you are open as far as the outcome is concerned. I am open if the outcome is defeat, I am open. Meaning, I will not be devastated. Meaning that I will be able to maintain the composure of my mind. I will realize that the defeat also is a reality of life. My role is to do the best that I can do for fighting this battle or performing the action. But to guarantee victory is not in my hand because there are many factors that control the outcome. And that battle of Mahabharata, an amazing, I think it must be the most amazing text or the epic in the whole world, with so many plots and so many things going on in the story, within the stories. And what all happened during that battle is just amazing. Who can control those events? Also, all planning and scheming, etc. is going on, and you cannot control everything. And therefore it's possible that in spite of my best effort, the outcome may be defeat. I will gracefully accept it, meaning that I will not judge myself as defeated. I will not say this is wrong, should not have happened. No, I say this also is a reality. Defeat is as much a reality as victory. And I will understand that in the cosmic scheme, everything has a place. That the action that I am performing, even though I look upon this action as my battle, it is not my personal battle, it is a cosmic event. Lord Krishna also is trying to say that every event that happens is a cosmic event. Meaning that the whole cosmos participates in bringing about a given event, like this event that is right now, where I am talking and listening is a simple event, but the whole cosmos is involved in this event. First of all of you are sitting here. Each one of you must have a history of how you came here. What could have happened when you would not have been here? Some guest came, something happened, the car failed, any number of things could have happened which may have prevented you from being here today. Having come here also, you are in the class and not walking around and doing something else. Being in the class also, listening. So many things actually, so many events happen. That the whole traffic was favorable, that no accident happened. Everybody conducted themselves properly. Some problem would have been there. And Swami would say, if somebody was seeing too many lights, because there's too much light inside and so seeing too many lights. So thus if we look at what is all involved in a given event to take place, we will find that the whole universe is involved, including my karma, which I perform in God knows which birth and how many births are involved, and your karma and so many karma and some combination. It's also very complex and something that we cannot work out. Arjuna, do not think that this is your battle. Don't think that you are the author of this battle. Ma karma phala heturubhu, do not look upon yourself as the author of the karma also. You are not the only factor in this karma happening, you are one of the factors. So many factors, Lord Krishna, I am the author, not you, in fact. I have in fact planned and schemed and done things so that this has happened. Ishvara means the cosmos. And therefore you are a part of it. It's a cosmic event. And so if success happens, there is also a cosmic event, failure also a cosmic event, meaning that it has something to do with the cosmos. It must have a place and a role to play in the whole cosmos. It may not have a role in your personal life, or you may look upon that event as affecting your personal life and judge it in one way, but it's a cosmic event. So if you impose upon yourself the responsibility that this is, I did this, that's not right. It's a cosmic event. And so failure also must have some reason. It must have also been a part of some order which I don't understand. Particularly when pain comes in our life, then we all these philosophies, disappears. As Swami used to say in the past that when we go and console somebody, we are all philosophers. When some death has happened and we believe it is, and we give him philosophy, how a soul changes, like a man changes garment, soul changes body, etc. He says, then when something happens to you, you require that fellow has to come and help you. But it is true that every event has something to contribute in the scheme of things. And we may know, sometimes we may not understand. Why me? That is the question. Why should it happen to me? There must be a reason. And a bhakta or devotee would say that whatever happens, happens for good of myself. Don't tell me, Swami, that this is something good. Then maybe there, who knows? We will not go into this thing. What I am saying is that these questions, when you ask why me, etc., also, they are understandable questions. It's a painful thing and it's not easy to absorb those kind of shocks. But ultimately, we should realize that every event is a cosmic event, and as not only so many factors go into creating that event, it must have some purpose to serve. Maybe in my life it has a given impact, but there are so many things that event impacts, and so there must be a reason, good reason for that to happen. What's the reason? I don't know. But we can give the benefit of doubt to the order, Ishvara, that nothing unfair happens. There is fairness in the womb of everything. So fairness is the basis of the universe, not unfairness. So law of karma simply says that the effect is compatible to the cause. Karma phala is compatible to karma. So it cannot be that a result comes which is unfair. It must be compatible to karma. In what way I do not know. I may not know all the aspects and all the variables involved for me to determine that this outcome is exactly compatible to the effort. Has to be. If that fairness is not there, the universe cannot function. There can be harmony only when there is fairness. If all the leaders and management are fair, then only in the organization and in the world there can be harmony, otherwise all chaos. If I am not fair, means I am partial of this one, then I am cruel to somebody else. It's not going to work. It may work in short term, it won't work in long term. Ishvara is administering the whole universe. He cannot do it on an unfair basis. Fairness must be there. Ishvara has to be fair. Why should he be fair? Because he has no agenda. Unfairness comes when I have an agenda. When I am doing something with an agenda, then I have a tendency to manipulate the event to fulfill my agenda, and therefore I may do injustice to somebody. It's possible. Meaning that when we act out of ragadveshas, personal ragadveshas, attachment, aversions, or likes and dislikes, in all likelihood we would be unfair. Because what I like and what I want is more important to me than what is right. So what is right is likely to be compromised when what I like controls me. Ishvara doesn't have likes and dislikes. He has no agenda. Because he is full and complete. There is no lack and want. All likes and dislikes and agendas are a result of lack and want inside. Ishvara doesn't have lack or want. He doesn't have any axe to grind. He has no interest in things happening one way or the other. Everything is perfect for him. Therefore, in the universe there is fairness. It's a matter of Shraddha. Matter of Shraddha. Can you prove it, Swami? You prove the other way around. You can't prove unfairness also, by the way. There is no fairness. Asatyama pratishthamte jagadahu, they say in the 16th chapter, these people say that there is no truthfulness, there is no justice in this world. There is no dharma, no righteousness, no Ishvara. But that is just a reaction also. Our Swami used to say that the person who has problem with Ishvara is a person who must have had problem with his father, generally. Because Ishvara is father in heaven. So this is how his problem with father is transferred to Ishvara also. When people reject Ishvara and think there are always some difficulties inside, It's not that they are very rational people and very intelligent people, and after rationality he has come to a conclusion that I don't believe in God. What is the rationality? He can't prove anything that there is no God. If you cannot prove that there is God, he says, prove to me there is God. He can't prove there is no God also. Prove to me there is justice. You can't prove there is injustice also. But then, Swamiji, how do you say there is God? Because scriptures say that. We have one additional thing here. First, pramanam, meaning that for us the authentic source of knowledge is scriptures and not our mind. Our mind is limited, influenced by my own likes and dislikes, and therefore I cannot expect myself to be always, objective. Scriptures come from a source which is objective. They say that there is order. There the Ishvara is all-knowing. Yes, Sarvajñah. Sarvit, one who knows everything, in every detail. When you know everything, then you are perfect. Then only you can know everything. You can never do anything wrong when you know everything. So Ishvara cannot do anything wrong because he knows everything. Past, present, future. And he is one without a second, limitless. Purnamadha. So he is Purnam. In Purnam, wholeness, there is no lack, no want, therefore there is no agenda. And therefore there is no likes and dislikes. So Ishvara functions without likes and dislikes. So that's why we keep him as a role model. Try to imbibe that model in our life. But so Ishvara is Purna. I'm not Purna. So that's why you fake it till you make it, as though you are Purna. Meaning that even if there is what I call failure, it is not injustice, that's what we are saying. It may be not suitable to me, it may not serve my purpose. But how do you know? How do you know that what you call failure is not good for you? How can it be good for me, Swami? How do you know? Suppose what you call success had happened, you know the consequences of that thing after 10 years. You've taken for granted that if this happens, that this is for my benefit, or it's for, how do you know that? Maybe Ishvara knows what is in your benefit and he has done this. So if I give benefit of doubt to Ishvara, in his judgment, then I look upon everything as his blessing also. Regardless of whether it's success or failure. Is it not so? It's a matter of having Shraddha, in the scheme of things, there is fairness. Not only fairness, there is benevolence. Not only Ishvara is fair, he is benevolent, meaning that the purpose of Ishvara always wants well-being of all the creatures. He is my well-wisher. Not only is fair, meaning that he gives the outcome in keeping with my action, but he is also benevolent, that in the process of giving me the outcome, he gives it in such a way that it will overall bring about some well-being of me. Today or tomorrow. Because we have no way of knowing what the consequence would have been had things happened the way I wanted. I don't know what the consequences. I have imagined some consequences. There is no way of knowing what the consequences would have been. Or when I am judging this as a failure, unfortunate or wrong, I have no way of knowing what its consequences will be in future as to whether it will be really a loss or disadvantage or not. So I leave it to Ishvara. That he has judged it, that this should be the outcome, I accept his judgment. That is called surrender. Sharanagati is accepting Ishvara's judgment. And that means that I let go my will. Ishvara's will and my will. What is my will? This should have happened. Ishvara's will, this has happened. So surrender is, I let go my will in favor of Ishvara's will, that this is what Ishvara's will, must be all right. Not easy, but this is what Lord Krishna is teaching. Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva. The success and failure cannot be looked upon as equal unless all of this is involved in that. Unless we bring in Ishvara. Swami always said that there is no karma yoga without Ishvara. There is no secular karma yoga. For the very simple reason that unless Ishvara comes in, how do you resolve these things? If I have to explain everything by my understanding, then it is so limited that I can't explain anything. So bring Ishvara in there, he is omniscient and he is my well-wisher, then it is possible that this also may bring about some benefit in future, who knows? Like that story of that Greek old man. He had a young son, strong, with his friends went to forest, and all these fellows caught hold of a horse and brought home. So this man, this young man, his son, this old man's son, has a horse. So people came in and congratulated him. You are very lucky. God is very favorable to you. You got a horse free of charge. He says, whatever God wishes is all right. Meaning he refused to be elated or look upon that as a favor. Whatever Ishvara wants. And then this young man then was once riding the horse and went to forest, and this was not a trained horse, it was a wild horse, and so it happened that he threw this fellow off and ran away, and this fellow's all hands and everything got broken, he was brought home. For 6 months he was in bed. Same people came and consoled this man, we are very sorry. Now, whatever Ishvara wants must be okay. And that country declared war with another neighboring country, and all young people, able-bodied people were drafted into army except this fellow. So they came in, oh, you are really lucky, whatever Ishvara wants. So who knows what the consequences will be or what happens? Meaning that here Lord Krishna wants us to become a little grow out of our very narrow way of looking and judging things and try to identify with Ishvara. So really purpose of Karma Yoga, this Bhakti Yoga is identifying with Ishvara. When I accept Ishvara's judgment in a given situation and let go of my will, meaning that without reaction, that's called identification with Ishvara. That's called Bhakti is identification with Ishvara. So Karma Yoga is performing karma, all the time trying to identify with Ishvara. Even when duty is given to me, we have a lot of complaints about why should I do this? Wow. So when we have to do things in our day-to-day, then also there are complaints. My karma, that I have to do this kind of chore, this menial work I have to do. We don't like a lot of things that we are required to do. But it's Ishvara's Ajna. You are placed in a situation, this has come to you, it is Ishvara. But meaning what we cannot control is Ishvara Ajna. What you can control, you can change. Nothing wrong in it. But you don't be frustrated. I can't change and I feel, no. Accept the Ishvara's will. That's what he wants you to do. This is best for you. That is again surrendering my will. That doesn't mean I don't make an effort. Doesn't mean that I don't try to change. But where I cannot change, that graceful acceptance means that surrendering my will to the will of Ishvara. Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva, being even-minded with reference to the outcome, whether it is success or failure. So that's Lord Krishna already told Arjuna. Sukha dukhes tato yuddha yujyasva. First of all, in your mind, create the disposition that you're equally prepared for defeat and success. You are fighting this battle as a dharma, not for success or failure. So when you fight the battle, it is not the outcome that is in your mind, that it must be righteous war. And I'm fighting for protecting dharma. That is the purpose. And if it brings victory, celebrate it. Brings failure, accept it. If I fight for victory, I'm likely to compromise dharma. Because then I will try to manipulate action so that it becomes favorable to me. We see everywhere in the whole world. We see ourselves also doing that. But this is a value. And we can practice this value provided it becomes value. We discover its value. This is valuable only when I understand what I am seeking in life. Always must be very clear that if I understand that life is the process of accomplishing what is already accomplished, then I don't have to make karma a means of accomplishing what is not accomplished. I have to make karma a means of getting rid of what is coming in the way of what is accomplished. Normally, karma or action is performed to accomplish what is not accomplished, to acquire what you don't have. Here we are told, perform karma to get rid of what you have. What do you have? Raga dveshas. So let karma become a process of getting rid of the obstacle, the ignorance. Raga dveshas, or likes and dislikes, are nothing but expression of ignorance. So Lord Krishna is teaching how to become happy, simply. Not how to become rich. This may not happen. And if you need to become rich, that also is there. Nobody, questions that. That also may be a need, but this is the teaching to become happy. And we repeat number of times, there is no other way of becoming happy. Because happiness being a state of mind, a result of the right attitude and value. It is not a result of anything else. It is not what I have, it's what I am. It determines whether I am happy or not. But at the same time we admit that these are all tall order. This thing is nice to talk about and nice, sounds very good. It is very good. But then we have been habitually doing things in such a way that for us to change those habits is going to be difficult. It is not that this is difficult, it is because I am in a wrong habit, that is what makes it difficult. All along in our life, success has been so much emphasized. Not equanimity of the mind, not gracefulness in life, success. And so I also have taken for granted that success is important in life and I must be successful. So I keep on judging myself based on whether I am successful or not. So my own self-effort, my own self-acceptance, I'm obliged to be successful, otherwise I reject myself. So these are the values given to me as I am brought up in this universe. I don't know what else they can tell you. This is, to live in the universe, this is what they will teach you. And you did it for a number of years. A time should come now to slowly, grow out of this. It's all right for all these years that we work for success. And now that this viveka comes, parikshalokan karmachitan brahmanan nirvedamayat. Happiness is the nature of the self, and how to invoke that happiness, tap into that happiness, not create happiness. Happiness is not to be created, happiness is to be tapped, which is already there, has to be tapped. The one who is trying to be happy is already happy. So karma need not become means of attaining happiness, karma should become means of tapping happiness, which is you. So when you do it with this right attitude and values, you tap happiness from yourself. So Lord Krishna, what he teaches is a very practical thing. Doesn't sound practical based on what we are oriented to. And so Arjuna was told that before you fight the battle, have this resolution in your mind that you are prepared to gracefully accept whatever the outcome is, that there will be no reaction. You accepted Ishvara's judgment and that it is the right thing to happen. Don't judge yourself based on the outcome. So this was already told to Arjuna. So what is new Lord Krishna is saying? So that applied to Arjuna, this applies to everybody. That's the difference. That verse applied to Arjuna, this verse applies to. So that verse that we talked about was was it 36 or what was it? Yeah, 38. So in verse 38, this was already told for Arjuna. What is being said here is something that applies to everybody. Because this Jaya Ajaya, victory and defeat, are a particular situation of Arjuna. For us it may not be victory and defeat, it may, but then these two, Siddhi and Asiddhi, success and failure, both of them stand for all pairs of opposites. Not just success and failure, but they also are Upalakshanam. They represent all pairs of opposites. What are they? Comfort and discomfort, honor and dishonor, success and failure, heat and cold, birth and death. Our life is full of this dvandva. We always encounter one side, unfortunately. Like the coin has two sides, at one point you can be only facing one side of the coin, and therefore we face either success or failure, honor or dishonor, praise or censure. One of the two will be there. Meaning that every moment what happens to me, the way I am treated, either I am praised or I am censured. I am honored or dishonored. I succeeded, I failed. This is called dvandva. Life is made of these dvandva or pairs of opposites. So Lord Krishna says you cannot escape. You cannot escape facing or having to face the dvandva. You will have to face success or failure, honor or dishonor, gain or loss, comfort or discomfort, praise or censure. One of two will happen. Matras prashastu kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkhada. Earlier Lord Krishna said that whenever you interact with the world, one of these experiences will happen. There is pleasure or pain, honor or dishonor. It will happen. We react to both of them. Honor happens, then I congratulate myself, I feel proud of myself. Then your dishonor happens, then I condemn myself. Both of these are nothing but the signs of unhappiness. Let them happen. First of all, Lord Krishna is tam titikshasva. You put up with them. Don't try to change them. Don't try to correct everything. Hey, why did you do this? Let him do that. Give freedom to the world to what he wants to do. The world has praised me, has censured me, honored me, dishonored me. Have the freedom. Put up with it. Now, coming to a step further, understand that this is how the world is, and therefore even-minded. That's what is in order. Success also is in order, failure also. How can failure be in order? Because Ishvara has decided that. So yogastha, abiding in yoga means first of all have this attitude in your mind before you perform the action. Yogastha kuru karmani. Not that result comes and then you start, you are already prepared for that. At one point in some lecture, Swamiji said that ask yourself, are you prepared for failure? When you undertake any endeavor, then ask yourself, am I ready for failure? No, then you think twice before doing it because it may come. Not that you are working for failure, but then failure is a possibility. Are you ready? No, I am not ready. Then think twice before commencing. No, I will be devastated if I fail. Then you have to think twice. Don't do it. Failure comes, I can handle it, then do it. We pray that it will not come. In case the failure comes, you should be ready to handle it. We get devastated. When things don't happen the way we want, just devastated. We can't function, become disabled. That's not right. You must be able to retain the equanimity of your mind. Therefore, prepare. Yogastha guru karmani. Sangam tyaktva dhananjaya. Again, sangam is attachment. Attachment is of two kinds. Attachment is, of course, to the outcome, as we just discussed. Attachment of other kind is that a pride or an over-consciousness that I am doing this. You are doing all right, but you do it with humility. Lord Krishna says, Sangam tyaktva dhananjaya. Here, Arjuna, when you perform the action, do it with humility. Do it with a sense of gratitude. Humility because I am performing action all right, but I realize that I am just one of the factors or forces in action. I can perform action provided so much is supporting me. Is it not so? I have been given, this body is given to me, sense organs given to me, mind is given to me, intellect is given to me, my skills are given to me, everything is given to me. I cannot claim ownership of all of this. I can say that I possess them and I'm blessed with them, but I cannot be owner. So be humble. The opportunity also is given to me. That you can perform an action is your privilege, but that privilege is because so much is given to you. Be aware of this. Be aware of the fact as to how you are constantly enjoying the grace of Ishvara. Sangam tyaktva. First is, don't be arrogant. Don't have pride or arrogance when you perform an action. With humility. That I'm performing an action, it's a great privilege. I'm sitting here and talking Bhagavad Gita, great privilege. The people listening to me, further privilege. I can talk, but whether to listen or not is something you decide. And you decide to continue to sit there. I should know that it is a great blessing. Be blessed. Enjoy the privilege and do things. Then there is no pride. We think that we can enjoy something only when we have pride. It's not so. Usually I can enjoy this flower. Where is it coming from? From my garden. Then it is a special value. It comes from a florist, is all right. My flower. No, then with flower also I can enjoy when mine is involved. all the time, always identifying with something, owning up something. Give up this sense of ownership. You don't own anything. It's all given to you. And enjoy. But how can you enjoy? This is my flower that is really enjoyable. Just flower is not enjoyable. So what are you enjoying? Flower or mindness? What are you enjoying? It's my flower, my son. His success I enjoy. Please do. Somebody's success, somebody else is okay. So it's not success that I'm enjoying, mindness I'm enjoying. Understand that. So ownership I'm enjoying. No. Ownership is a false notion. You are not owner of anything. You are just a recipient. You are the possessor of things, not owner. You are like a trustee of things. So body is given to you in trust, and sense organs, mind, intellect, everything is given to you. Enjoy it. Use it properly. Use it for contribution. Tell Ishvara, you have given me this, I am giving you this. Hey. It already was given up. Poor thing. So how you can remain light while otherwise become very tense? When that ego is involved in performance of an action, then I feel highly responsible. That there is a lot of tension there. Not that I should not be responsible. Not that I should not be thorough. Not that I should not put my best effort in an action. That's not the point. In itself, that is not so stressful. But that ego is, too much ego is, some ego is always there. When too much ego is involved, that becomes very stressful. Then there is a stamp of an outcome also becomes very stressful. Act as an instrument of the Lord. Lord Krishna will say later, Nimittamatram bhava sabhyasachin. A further lesson. Understand that you don't do anything, Lord Krishna, I am doing everything. But right now he is not saying that. Later on he will say, in an advanced lesson, that when you look at the cosmic thing, that Ishvara is doing everything. About the battle of Mahabharata, Lord Krishna will say that Arjuna, realize that all of this battle is already over. All of these people are already killed by me. You are appointed here to get the credit. And therefore, look upon yourself as my instrument. That's the next stage. But even if I look upon myself as a doer, an humble doer, a sense of humility and sense of gratitude for what is given to me. As I say, to perform an action also is a privilege. I should be grateful for that also. What's the privilege? I'm just sweeping this. That also, every action is a privilege. There was a Shabari who by sweeping became, that was her act of devotion. Happily sweeping every day for 1 mile. That Lord Rama will be coming here, and I know he's barefooted, and so there should be no pebbles and no thorns on his path, and she will clean up. I don't know how long every day she did. She didn't know when he will come. Don't think that she did only one day when he came. She didn't know when he will come. Her guru had said that Rama will come to you. Since then she is expecting and preparing. So when that act is done for Ishvara, that's what Shankaracharya would say anyway. I am not saying it, but that is what he says here. Kevalam Ishvarartham karmani kuru. Like that devotee of Lord Rama, whose name was Shabari, whatever she did was for Rama. When she went to forest to pluck fruits, for Rama. If he tasted whether the berries are sour or not, if she did, that was for Rama. That is why otherwise Rama cannot eat that kind of, this is polluted. Somebody eats it. Lakshmana was not happy with that. Anyway, this is a story from where we don't know. It doesn't appear in Ramayana, but it comes, we have so many legends. And so one of the legends is that Shabari offered this kind of berries And she tasted before offering to the Lord. Because it should not be, there could be sour, so no sour fruit should be offered. How do you decide? You taste it. But she was so innocent. And so Rama did not mind. There was such innocence in there. And so the devotion made her do all that stuff. So Rama only saw in that an expression of love and not, so the form did not matter to Lord Rama. What mattered is the spirit of love that mattered. Lakshmana objected to the form, but still Rama, that's what they say. Lakshmana, hey, you can't eat this kind of thing. This is polluted. Rama says, no, it's okay. It comes from her. So whether it is whether you see the form or the spirit, the form not acceptable because it violates the basic, not only hygiene, but the law of offering something. You always offer something which is sanctified. But that was also overlooked. So, for her, so Ishvarartham, so that's what Shankaracharya says. I didn't say that, because that will become a further tall order, that we remember Ishvara in everything that we do. And may Ishvara be pleased with this action. That is called Sangam Taktva, meaning that then there is no attachment or there is no pride involved in there. As a devotee I do. That is, Kartrutva is still involved. Doership is there, but as a devotee I do. So this is called Sattvic Karta, invoking a devotee from me. Tat Kurushva Madarpanam, Lord Krishna says that what I do, may you make it an offering to me. Meaning that invoke the devotee from you. There is no devotion, Swami. Where can I invoke? Try it. Do it anywhere. Act. Pretend. Someday it will happen. You know why it will happen? Because the core person is a devotee. That is why. Right now it is so much buried that I don't feel it at all. Nothing happens. When I go to temple, nothing happens to me. We still go to temple. People go to temple and nothing happens, so they just stand there like that. So some people are champions. They say, I don't go to temple. It's all crowded. Indian Hindu temples are. I don't go there. I just leave my wife there or my mother there. And he stays out. That must be some kind of prarabdha karma, This goes all the way. But there are people who regularly come and leave their spouse to the class and leave and again come back to pick her up at the end of the class. That fellow will not enter the class. Something is there, his karma, which prevents him from taking advantage of that. He goes home and watches TV, not that he does something useful. So to remember Ishvara is not an easy thing, but then if it doesn't matter, you try it. Tatravi Ishvaratham, says Shankaracharya, that perform action as an act of devotion or offering to the Lord. So even a very most exalted act of contribution, contributing to society is of course a great, but look upon that as Ishvara is even further. You are doing something for somebody as far as the vyavahara is concerned, but in that also you can say this is for Ishvara. Through somebody it will reach Ishvara. Yogastha sangam tektva. So two things I said in the first line. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tektva dhananjaya. Yoga is this attitude of gracefully receiving or responding to whatever result comes. And our Swamiji added one thing there, look upon that as prasada of Ishvara, that's even better. When we say this is Ishvara's scheme and then what he does is right, then you can add one thing that it is not only right, as we say, he is my well-wisher. So it is prasada of Ishvara, it is benevolent, act of benevolence. All of this, we have to grow into that. It takes a long time because we are accustomed to reacting to things. And this will be real action. In a situation when I look upon that as Ishvara's grace, that is called real action. Responding. Normally I react. If it's favorable to me, then I'm happy. Not favorable, I'm unhappy. Yogastha kurukarmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddha siddhyo samobhutva, being even-minded to all pairs of opposites, of which success and failure are the representatives. Samatvam, thus maintaining sameness of the mind, is yoga. See, this is yoga actually as a standard definition. Yoga chitta vritti nirodha. In fact, Sage Patanjali has already defined what yoga is. Yoga is chitta vritti nirodha. Stoppage of all the thoughts is called yoga. And Lord Krishna calls this a yoga. But this is the means of that yoga. When we are able to maintain that sameness of the mind, that means that our mind is a non-reacting mind, is a gracefully accepting mind, where I in course of time cultivate the ability to gracefully accept whatever it is. I become so large-hearted as to accommodate anything. You become accommodative. Success and failure, both you accommodate means you have to be larger than them. You become more and more large-hearted to accommodate. And so ultimately, first of all, this is the stoppage of all the reactions. Samatvam yoga uchyate, when you are devoted to the yoga of the nature of sameness of the mind, which means that there is all letting go or giving up all the reactions. We are not that yoga where all thoughts are given up is ultimate stage, but this is a means of that yoga. This will lead ultimately to that yoga when you are able to let go of all your thoughts. If that is the yoga that you are seeking, that also, this will become a means. Without that yoga, that yoga won't be possible. Meaning that unless you achieve this state of mind where you enjoy this equanimity, it won't be possible for you to control the mind, dharana, dhyana, it won't be possible at all. So yoga in terms of samadhi, or nirvikalpa samadhi is possible when there is savikalpa samadhi, when there is dharana, dhyanam, when there is dharana, when there is concentration. It cannot be unless we have this equanimous state of mind, then only the concentration, etc. is possible. So then this becomes the means of that yoga also. So samatvam yoga uchyate. Samatvam also in that sense can also be called yoga because it is a means of that yoga also. Okay, we'll conclude here. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Satsang, huh? It's Father's Day. So no satsang? No, we'll have satsang. I know. We already wished them once. But after lunch, we'll assemble here for question answer. Satsang will be there. Swaminathanji, you made Our Dr. Swaminathan made a very beautiful summary of our class, last class, of Karmanyavadhikarastha. So we can request him to come in and read so that we know. We should have done earlier, in fact, in the beginning of the class, so that you knew what went on in last class. But anyway,
I will leave it here.
huh. But there are copies made? Oh, copies made. All right. Oh, you already have that? No. The copies are made where several points are, some X number of points are, 8 points are there or something, where the lessons that he thought were important from that class. Swaminathan is summarized, and more copies also of the document are made, then you can collect them on your way out. Pardon me? Oh, sorry, there is no satsang this afternoon. I forgot. No satsang this afternoon because we are meeting. You're right. I'm sorry. No satsang today. No satsang next Sunday because it's 1st of July. That's the day of our Kumbhabhishekam. Then there'll be 15th of July, okay. Satsang. The class is, next class will be 15th of July. There will be no class on the 1st of July because of Kumbhabhishekam also.